If you are new to investing, this will be the best video that you can possibly watch. It summarizes all the ideas from videos that are 15 minutes to an hour or more, and I will use my own account to showcase how some of these ideas work when put to practice. You won't want to skip any of this juicy information. The first thing that you need to truly understand is that consistency is better than perfection. It is almost impossible to time the markets, and those who try typically will lose money. Realistically, what you should be doing is dollar cost averaging into each of your positions. This just lets you spread out your purchases over time. For example, if you had $5,000 that you wanted to invest into the ETF VOO, which is an S&P 500 ETF, you wouldn't just buy $5,000 worth of the stock. You would buy $500 worth of the stock every single week for 10 weeks. So that way you're not locked in at that first purchase price. You also need to understand that in the beginning stages of investing, you won't see crazy returns on your capital, but your largest growth will come from your capital contributions. The first $100,000 that you invest will be the hardest. If you can invest $10,000 a year, it would take you just under 8 years to have $100,000 invested. But to get to $200,000 invested, it only take you around 4 years. We'll take a look at this in just a moment. If you want to follow along on a consistency challenge, go ahead and click the subscribe button because for each new subscriber that I gain, I will invest $3 into a brand new account that I started just for this challenge, just to show you that being consistent ultimately will treat you very well in the long run. When you do invest, you should invest in low-cost ETFs such as VOO, SPLG, VTI, and SCHD, and there's tons of other ones, but these are all low-cost ETFs. You want the low cost because if you have an ETF that charges a 0.5% fee, you will lose 0.5% of your portfolio each year, no matter what. If the market goes up 10%, you will only gain 9.5% because they will take their 0.5% fee. And if the market goes down 10%, you'll lose 10.5% because they still take their fee. This compounds over time and can chip away at hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of your future gains. ETF investing isn't the fanciest way to invest, but it is incredibly effective, especially if you're investing for the long term and are very consistent. If you're starting when you're younger, you will have plenty of time for your investments to grow and grow over time. Sticking to your plan is incredibly important, so don't get caught up with the meme stocks like GameStop and AMC. Do my best to practice what I preach, and this is exactly how I fit into those first 2 points. I have the first $400 of each paycheck deposited directly into my investment account. With this, I can buy whatever stocks that I would like. I usually will buy SPLG or SCHD, but I'll also buy some other dividend paying stocks. With that, this leads me to the final thing that you should do before you start investing, and it's super important that you do this. Before we jump into the last thing that you really need to have dialed in, I want to show you how being consistent pays off over time. As you can see right here, back in November, my account was only worth $18,000, and just 1 year later, we're approaching $35,500 in the account, and that is just by me depositing $400 from every single paycheck and investing into quality ETFs. This is incredibly important when you start investing, but you need to consciously decide what type of investor you are. Are you a dividend investor or are you a growth investor? Personally, I'm a hybrid, but you need to make that conscious decision. Then you need to pick the stocks and ETFs that you're going to purchase over time when you make your deposits. Make sure that you do your own research on the stocks and ETFs that you buy. I personally am buying SPLG, PFE, and O, and a few other dividend stocks. If you want to see what I'm invested in, go ahead and check out my channel. I do have portfolio updates where you can see everything that I'm holding, but make sure you look into it on your own. Then you need to figure out how much you want to invest each week or every 2 weeks or even monthly. Personally, I do about 20% of my income. Then, if your brokerage allows for it, set up automatic purchases for these stocks that you've picked. This way, you can have the purchases made without you having to think about it. Then, the final thing that I would recommend you do is make a mental decision that any additional income that you get, that you will invest X percent. For example, if you got $50 for your birthday, you should invest $10 because your percentage was 20%. And this just can really jumpstart the habit of investing as much as you can and really kick off your investing journey. As the old saying goes, a farmer never plants if he waits for perfection, and you need to understand that the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, and the second best time is now, and the same exact thing goes for investing. The sooner that you start investing, the sooner that you're going to see the fruits of your labor. With that, you should be able to get started on your investing journey and take off with confidence. Make sure that you smash the subscribe button and subscribe to the channel to watch me invest $3 for you clicking a button. It is free. Cheers.